Hello and welcome to another edition of Watch Pro Originals. And I'm delighted to say that today we are joined by Maxime Herbelin. He's a man with the surname that is the same as the watch brand. He's part of the family business Michel Herbelin, based in France, just over the border from Switzerland. And a brand that has really been developing its network of retail partners around the world, particular focus on the UK at the moment, and really a story of a family-owned watch business that goes back to the early 20th century, and I'm sure is going to be successful again. I may have some of those details wrong, Maxime. I saw you grimace slightly there. It's very nice to see you.
Yes, it's nice to see you, Ron.
Yeah. So how have things been for you? Is that a lockdown beard I'm looking at there? I'm sure you were clean shaven last time I saw you.
Yeah, for the lockdowns last like 8 weeks, and it was quite difficult to adapt at the beginning because it was unexpected for us and for everyone. But we took the time to rethink things for us, to rebuild the brand image in at some point, and we refurbished our workshops. We worked hard on the collection, and we also worked hard to find a way to help retailers after the lockdown everywhere. So it was it was not as usual. We worked like partial unemployment, and we had we worked at 30% of all the employees the first 3 weeks, and then up to 50%, and now we're close to working like normally. But this is still this is still weird because we have to follow specific safety regulations just to protect our employees. And we came with brand new stuff, and we're kind of happy with that. So, and I hope it will help to redevelop after the lockdown.
When you say you've been putting a lot of thought into how to help your retailers, what sort of ideas have you come up with?
We plan our production for the year. And so we have a lot of best sellers in stock right now. So this is available quite quick. It's quickly available for retailers worldwide. And we also will set up payment conditions, specific payment conditions, just to help them to sell and then to pay us.
So do you get the feeling that your partners would prefer to be stocking those bestsellers that they know that their customers love, rather than necessarily coming up with too many novelties right now?
I think so. We have the bestsellers, and we came out with some novelties, but less half of what we had last year, because we want to focus on what is selling best, because we need people to be to feel safe, especially retailers. We don't want them to stock so many pieces in the window. So we have the bestsellers, and we have 3 or 4 brand new lines that will be launched during the year, but not all at one time.
So it sounds like you're being very sensitive to the sort of cash needs of your retailers. You don't want to get them tying up too much cash in stock that might not move too quickly. I mean, I guess a company like Michel Herbelin must have cash flow issues of its own. Has that been okay?
Yeah, but as we are a family-owned company, and we're not a huge watch company, so we know what problem they might be facing. So we have a little bit of cash, of course, and we think that we have a partnership to build and to last with our retailers. And we know that it is not easy for them, because sometimes it's not as. This is small businesses, and small businesses can have difficulties more quicker than big businesses. So I think as we are human, we have a human way of doing business, and I think we should partner, and we should strengthen the links between them and us. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but
yeah, it does. And I mean, one of the things that people may not know about Michel Herbelin is you're more of a design studio, really, than a manufacturer.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess you didn't have massive overheads in terms of factories and machinery and all that sort of stuff going on. So that's to the advantage. But have you faced any issues, or do you expect to face any issues in terms of the suppliers who you work with to make your watches?
We at the beginning we had to face with we had to cope with some issues, of course, because we have suppliers who are coming from everywhere, you know, from France, Switzerland, Far East, and we had to figure out how to get the thing right. But I think for the moment, I won't complain, because we are able to produce everything we ordered, and this is quite a success for us by the time being.
And have you started taking orders now? Have you started seeing retailers opening up around the world and activity starting to increase in different countries?
So in Asia first, like in February, March, we had like big orders coming from South Korea, especially, then from China. And we start to have orders now from France, because we reopened like 2 weeks ago. And it is not as good as it was supposed to be without the lockdown of or due to the COVID. But this is not that bad. They are starting. People are very careful, that they are starting. They know that they have to work and to deal with it, and so they are buying carefully, but they are buying. This is a good sign for us.
And have you managed to get out and about into the country? I know your business is located fairly remotely, but have you managed to get into any of the cities and see what's actually happening in city centres and shopping malls?
We couldn't know by ourselves, because as a lockdown, we were not able to move from our place. So we were still located in Charquemont, the small village. You've been there already, you know. This is not a big. There's not there a big city center, but we heard that like big malls were empty, and they're still locked down. The biggest one. I know that tomorrow Printemps Haussmann is reopening, but in the big malls around Paris, it is still closed. But I haven't heard what's happening. We have news just about the COVID, but we don't have real news about how people live in big cities.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. You really want to know the business information, and it all gets drowned out by the health story, which is understandable, I suppose. But now we really want to be shown ahead. Here in the UK, we're obsessing over a government advisor who should have been fired, rather than obsessing over how to open up retail stores. It's a mess. So what can you tell me about the 2020 collections? What are you focusing on this year?
We are focusing on the two main lines. As you know, we have the Newport line and the Antares line for ladies, and we are launching two new Newports, one with a new shape and one with a new material and a new movement, a regatta movement. And one is going to be launched next week, and the second one in September. So this will be the two masterpieces for the year. And then we have, as you know, we are pretty famous with the ladies range, and we are coming with a new jewel lines. Okay. But I cannot show you for the moment. This is still a top secret.
Well, I mean, how did you feel about the Swiss watch fairs being cancelled this year? Were you planning to be at Baselworld again? I don't think you were you?
Not anymore. We decided not to go to Basel last year. So this year in 2019, after 46 years, because my uncle and my father started in 1971, if I remember well. And we decided not to go last year because it's way too expensive for what we can get for the income. It's good to be there because you can see all the novelties and you can feel the trends of the year. But for us, the business was not made there anymore. We met our clients, and so they look at the collection and say, okay, I will place orders later. So for us, it was too big of an investment for what we had. But this is a shame we don't have any fairs anymore, because this is a good way just to mix all the people, all the stakeholders of the watch industry.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a situation now where we know about maybe 35, 40 brands. We know what they're doing next year, because they're either part of what was called SIHH now, Geneva Watches and Wonders, and we have this
Yeah.
new consortium around Rolex and Patek Philippe. But that leaves brands like Michel Herbelin a bit homeless. And
Yeah.
do you have any idea what you might do next year? Have you been speaking to people in Geneva?
I don't know. I don't think we're going to move to. We're not going to move next year because we are still. The situation now just makes us to be very careful. And as you got the news before anyone else, tomorrow we're taking over the company from my father.
Oh,
so we have to be careful with the coming investment. So we don't really know what we will do in 2021, but I really think this is important for us, like in 2022, to be part of a nice fair, like it used to be with Baselworld 10 years ago.
well, congratulations to your father for retiring, and congratulations to you for,
tomorrow, yes.
for getting him out of the business.
Yeah. He has to find new hobbies now.
Well, I'm sure he will. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
part of the world.
Of course.
Well, that's very interesting news. Have you got any? Do you think it'll signal any sort of change in strategy and direction for Michel Herbelin?
Yeah, we will make some changes, but I cannot tell you for the moment.
Okay.
We are no, I'm just kidding. We will improve the middle range, like from 500 pounds to 1,500 pounds, with Newport, with Cap Camara, with inspiration, with nice product, with nice movement, and because we think we want to show our knowledge and our know-how. It's been more than 7 years that we are producing watches from father to son, and I think sometimes we just we have the price barrier, the frontier of the price, and when you have to go over it, and we are working to improve the brand image because we will come with a new communication campaign like next week, which will meet our expectation. I think of getting the brand higher.
Okay, well that's exciting news for you, and
Yes.
I look forward to seeing how that all unfolds, and I look forward to seeing the watches that are coming out later in the year as well.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Maxime. It's really good to
with pleasure.
see you again. And
it was good to see you too.
I look forward to coming over again and seeing you in France, or you could see you in
London. Yes, in France, or as soon as I can go in London.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there.
And I must thank you for that bottle of Vin Jaune you sent me. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yes. You like it? You already enjoyed it? Yeah.
You got to eat it with the right cheese. I had to go out and get some very old Comté to go with it.
Yes. Yeah, of course. That's a perfect match.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay.
All right. Well, great seeing you again.
Okay, good to see you.